New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri. Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Central European Time. Come find purpose, nurture growth, and live your passion. And now On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri.
Greetings, everyone. It's wonderful to be here again with you this afternoon. So welcome to this idea of being on purpose. Each one of us, you, me, we are each here in this body, in this life, on purpose for a specific purpose, which only you or I can fill. And so I invite you in this time together to move within and to go into this sanctuary, inner sanctuary, which each one has within. To consider, to connect with that deeper, more profound purpose. So just gently close your eyes if you should choose. Make sure your spine is erect and you're seated in a comfortable position bodily. And let's take a few moments just to connect. And so as we close our eyes or our minds and move within, we simply acknowledge the breath of life. The gift. It is a gift. We did not choose it. We did not search for it. We did not do a lot of work to receive it. It simply is a gift. And it is a gift each moment of every day. The in-breath. And we release. And acknowledging this gift of life, we know that deep within each one is a connection to the source of all life. And so it is in deepening and strengthening this connection that we go deeper and uncover, awaken to, shine attention onto that deeper purpose for our life, so that we may surrender to that and acknowledge that presence. Be guided by it. Become one with it. Again, just deepening the breath, acknowledging the in-breath and the out-breath, which follows each one throughout each day. All day, every day. And so slowly come back to this time and space. We are reflecting in this time together on Ernest Holmes' words in his classic book, The Thing Called You. This week we'll be considering chapter 6. If you would like to read along and read that chapter after our meeting and reflect a little more deeply on all of the words, I've only chosen a few for our contemplation today. We are connecting with this thing called you, how you work. There are physical laws in the universe. There are physical laws, just like there are the laws that we accept day by day as we walk through our day. We accept the law of gravity. We don't wonder if we're going to fall down or fly away when we walk. We accept the law of circulation and the law of energy when we turn on a light and expect it to go on. And just as there are physical laws, there are spiritual laws. And so in our time together, I'd like to highlight those spiritual laws that we don't think about so often and see how they work so that they can work for you in your life. And today I'll highlight another favorite author of mine, Martha Beck. If any of you have read her books, today I'm going to talk about her book called The Way of Integrity. She's delightfully humorous, but also very deep. And in this book called Living in Integrity, she talks about finding the path to the true self. And sometimes we feel lost, we feel empty, we go about our daily lives without knowing what it's all about. We go almost in default, just doing what we habitually do, not really thinking about it very much. And then we come against barriers, we come against challenges, we come against things in the outer world. We react to them, we get upset, we get angry, we get sad, we are always in this reactive mode. Sometimes we even feel lost, empty. And then we hear these words, live your passion. How am I going to find out what my passion is? How do I know that? What is it? We experience disease. We experience physical things in our body. We don't understand why. And she points out in her book that the common reason that we do most of these things, that we experience these sadness, depression, disease, all of these suffering, is that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And we expect the promised rewards. And when we don't get them, when we don't receive them, or when that doesn't happen, we simply try harder, do more. We are following this law, do whatever it takes to win approval. When others approve, then we feel good and we believe we are on the path. Be a good girl, a good boy. Do as you're told, and you'll be fine. We are living in harmony with our culture's values, the values of that outside culture. And so we're constantly in this dilemma because we can't meet them. It's impossible. We're living in an impossible situation. Martha Beck points out in her book that when we're living in integrity, and by integrity she means integral, when we're part of our whole, when we're living both from our outside, but also from our inside. I sometimes call this living inside out. When you're living in integrity with your purpose, Martha Beck writes in her book, your daily work, whether it's writing computer code, gardening, building houses, whatever you're doing for your daily job, if you're just working at home or doing good service or whatever action you are undertaking each day, when you are doing it in your purpose, it's so absorbing that at the end of the day, you don't want to stop. You just want to keep on going. You don't get tired. You're very excited. And then when you do stop, the evenings are delightful because you have time to share with family. And then you go to bed and you sleep deliciously and sweetly, wake up in the morning ready to begin again. This is this life of living your purpose. So most of us may be kidding ourselves and say that our lives are just fine. You never have experienced that perfect alignment of body, mind, heart, and soul when they are all together in one alignment. Your true nature forever collides with that force, and it can tear it apart. That force of culture outside, the myths that we have grown up with. And the good news is that living in integrity is the cure. Integrity is living in alignment with your purpose. And each one has a unique and individual purpose. It is when we live in alignment with this that we experience what she describes as that waking up in the morning, excited to begin the day. We're going through the day, loving each moment and living that passion that comes from inside. So, if you are ready to abandon that suffering and embrace your true nature and experience the joy you're meant to feel, join me on this pathway today to this life on purpose. If you're just dubious, think, that's not possible. I don't know about that. Have a little hesitation, maybe a little skeptical. Come along anyway. Might find something. So, when our lives align with purpose, with our purpose, we experience this bliss, joy. Joy, I think, is a better word for it. Bliss, we may sort of tune out, but joy, we are actually engaging in life fully. And that engagement brings this joy, this excitement, this energy, this connectedness to all. So, step one, connection. The connection with the inner voice, the inner soul, that inner creative being, that source within that is part and inside each one of us is the first step on this pathway. Living this life, I call it the life of intuition. Because when we talk about intuition, we're talking about inside, what we know from inside, not from outside. So if we focus inside and are living this life of intuition from our spiritual identity, when we change our viewpoint, change the way we look at things, and consider that we are first a spiritual identity, a spiritual being, that's what we are foremost, and that's where we begin. And this body serves us as a vehicle to express our spiritual identity. Our culture teaches and reinforces lack, fear, uncertainty, loneliness, suffering. Can you feel how contracting that is? Contract into it, and you feel separate, tight. Ernest Holmes writes that if you listen to peace, you will experience it. If you listen for truth, You will hear it. If you listen to power, you'll receive it. If you listen to wholeness, you will discover it. This is the creative law, a spiritual law. It's like a mirror. As you open the gates of consciousness to the divine presence, you'll be flooded with light. You'll know what is yours to do. You'll come in contact with that passion within that longs to express through each one, through you. Remember again the words of Talade de Jardin. You are a spiritual being having this human experience. Each one is an individual expression of divine energy. And we go inside to connect and listen. Simple, but sometimes it's not easy. This is what I mean by intuitive living, connection. Last week, I introduced us to this, what I call the centering prayer. A centering prayer. It's a prayer of centering. I know there are spiritual traditions which have a specific prayer practice called centering prayer. But in this context, I'm talking about centering in so you can live from that inside message, from inside out. And I shared with you there are 3 simple steps. Perhaps some of you have tried it during the week and practiced and taken some moments. I invited us to take a moment any time of day or night and simply become aware. Become aware that our center is within and move there, whether it's for a minute or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20. And I suggested that there are 3 simple steps to this prayer, just to use our brain as a tool to help us remember. And the brain remembers very well 3s. So I try to put things in 3s or 4s so that we can use our brain as a tool to remember. So the first one is intention. Create an intention. Have an intention. And the intention for this prayer is to live more entirely from your inner knowing and your heart space, and have that intention to be willing to release these old concepts. So we begin with this intention to move within and to rely on our inner knowing and release all the other concepts. And then we move our attention with an A, attention to our inner sanctuary. So if you're doing this on your own, find a time when you can be totally alone and go within to that sacred center of your being. And I suggest that you actually feel it. All of the brain research that's going on right now talks about the fact that if you are feeling it, you can more easily separate from that mind that takes you, thinking mind that can take you all over the place where you don't want to go and doesn't tell you the truth, really. It's all mostly just fabrications. So, intention, attention to your inner sanctuary, and feeling this energy, feeling this place of inner sanctuary. And then the third step is to remember throughout the day to live inside from that inside place. So if a challenge comes up or something happens, go first inside. What does my inside voice tell me about this? How can I respond rather than react to this situation? So those are the 3 steps. If you'd like to add a 4th step, you may, and it's very helpful. It's not required, but it can be very, very useful. And that is, if you have time, Keep a journal. Keep a record of these moments and what happens. You'll be very surprised when you read them later. So let's just do this together now. Join me on this exploration of your spiritual identity. And so I invite you into this centering moment. Remember, our intention is to go within, to live more entirely from this inner knowing. It's always helpful to keep your spine straight, the connection between head and heart. So I create this intention to go within, to focus on the inner knowing. And then I'll begin to allow the breath to become my focus. The breath in and the breath out. And then I allow the breath to take me deep into the inner sanctuary, into that heart space. And today, as we do this, simply allow the breath to travel throughout your body and sense what you feel, your feeling tone. Perhaps there's tingling in the hands. Perhaps you feel your feet touching the ground. And feel your heart beating. You can even feel the breath moving in and out of your lungs or down your throat. I'll leave you here for a minute just to feel and recognize your body. Feel moving more deeply and closely into that inner sanctuary of your heart. Feeling love. Feeling joy. Feeling peace. Feeling love. And so as you dwell in that place for a few moments, or a few minutes, or a few 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, just allowing that space to be open, clear. Gradually, there will be an inner knowing. There will be the thunder that comes into the silence. There will be a knowing of what is yours to do. It expresses as your intuition. In our time together now, we will close this space and move back into this place of where you are sitting, this room, this concrete existence. And coming back into the here and now, as you move into this practice and engage it and bring it into your life experience, what you will find is that doors will open where you couldn't imagine they would. Synchronicities will happen, harmony, things fall together into place. That's just the way it works. And so one of my hopes for this time together on purpose is to become connected to each other through community. So I just want to turn it over to Fiona, our producer, to share with you some ways that we can maintain this connection physically. Fiona?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Beth. I just wanted to let everybody know that New Thought Media Network is the website, www.ndmedia.org. And you can go on here and see the many programs that are broadcast every day live from Facebook here, from YouTube, and you can also see an archive of all of the past programs as well. And I'd also here is the link. So you can go on to YouTube and just look up New Thought Media Network. And then you can subscribe to the channel, and that way you will receive advanced notification for the shows on here and for Beth's show next week. So that's usually scheduled a few days ahead of time. So I appreciate all of you being here, and thank you for your support. And there's some comments there. I'll show some of the comments, Beth.
Yes, do show them.
I will turn the microphone back over to you then. So, namaste, everyone.
Thank you. And if we can see some of the comments, that would be lovely. So we can feel this connection as we join together across time and space. Some of you will be watching this at another time, and that's just perfect. That's just great. And keep on watching, and then perhaps you'll be inspired to join us live, to feel the energy. So, as it is normally the case, I'll close today with a poem. I'm going to propose a poem from the book Remember Love. My daughter gave me this for Christmas, and I'm just enjoying it. Cleo Wade. And the poem today is called Remember Love. So poetry speaks in another language, doesn't it? And it goes right to the heart. So I always like to read a poem to close us. So when the poem is finished, we'll say namaste and go our way. Remember love. It was as if she had not said a single word except these for the past 30 minutes. Remember love. I write because I know the power of words. Words have saved me every time I needed saving. These 2 words did something to me. They saved me. I began to ask myself if I could remember love. When life changes, can I remember love? When I change, can I remember love? When my relationships change, can I remember love? When I remember love, I am resilient. I can love myself through a hard time. I know this because I've done it. I remember that my spirit is soft but charitable. I remember that my love belongs to me when I am at my sturdiest and my most fragile. I remember that my life is bigger than whatever noise surrounds me. I remember that clear days have always followed any storms, even when the storms felt like hurricanes. I remember love, and I remember my wings. I remember I can fly. Remember love. Namaste.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next Wednesday for more of On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri, only on New Thought Media Network. Learn more at www.ntmedia.org.